Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here and welcome to Happy Gaming News. Apologies for this being not on Sunday. I was a bit strapped for time over the weekend, so I couldn't get it done on time. My bad. This video will cover gaming news from May 10th through the 16th, despite the 17th and the 18th having things I want to talk about. So first up, we have a few game releases this last week that I'm sure a number of you are excited for. On Tuesday, Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster hit the PlayStation 4. With further updated graphics, I'm still only noticing slight differences from last year's PS3 remaster. That's when I'm trying really hard. Maybe I just don't see it, but there's only so much you can HD those old PS2 graphics. But if you didn't buy it before or you haven't ever played it, now is the perfect time to get the Final Fantasy X games. Also, Final Fantasy IV: The After Years hit Steam. This game is the sequel to Final Fantasy IV, and fans have given me mixed reviews on the After Years, but I do hope to pick it up very soon myself, considering I just for the first time finished playing through Final Fantasy IV on Steam. As for some other titles that launched, Axiom Verge, which a lot of people have been talking to me about, was launched on Steam this last week, as well as Attack on Titan: Chains of Humanity on the 3DS. Interesting. And if you're not looking forward to any of the games that came out last week, well, at least The Witcher 3 comes out on Tuesday, May 19th, alongside Destiny's next DLC, The House of Wolves. Next up on the list of news, some of you may remember me reporting on Wildstar's latest patch last week. I described their subscription model as quote-unquote going strong, when what I really meant to say was somehow still going at all. However, as of on cue, rumors began flying around last week that they would be switching to a free-to-play or buy-to-play model in August of this year, along with the game being placed on Steam. It didn't take long for a quote-unquote anonymous developer to comment on Reddit confirming the change in business model. The dev goes on to comment about it becoming a more freemium game with a cash shop and items like EXP boosts and character slots, while also shifting to that free-to-play model. He says it's not pay to win, but a lot of conveniences will be sold. Following that, he comments on the very low morale of Carbine at the moment, with all of the employees pretty much leaving the company. According to him, they are down to 4 people on the Dungeon and Raid team, 5 class designers, QA only has 7 people with some of those soon to be leaving, and they've lost several art directors and producers. So, since this is an anonymous developer, I'd like to take that with a grain of salt, but Wildstar is definitely hitting hard times. Several gaming news episodes ago, I also reported that they had dropped 500% in revenue since the game came out. And considering that the game just came out last year in June, that's pretty rough if you ask me. The model should revitalize some interest in the game, assuming that the content of it can actually convince those that go back to it to actually pay a pretty penny on those boosts. But the big pieces of news this week was the announcement of the E3 press conference's lineup and their schedules. This year's lineup is looking mighty interesting with Bethesda, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, Sony, Nintendo, PC Gaming Show, and Square Enix. If you'd like to check out a full schedule, be sure to check the link in the description of the video. Now, this is getting fans hyped because some of these companies aren't really familiar with having an E3 press conference. It will be their first one ever. One of the big ones people are looking forward to is Bethesda, as Fallout 4 is heavily expected to make an appearance at their press conferences, with leaks and rumors spreading to news outlets everywhere on the internet. Square Enix being on the list is also interesting, as their conference is held just 3 days before the launch of Final Fantasy XIV's first expansion, Heavensward. With Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 still in the works, as well as the recent release in Japan of Bravely Second, the upcoming Dissidia game, Star Ocean 5, and some secret project they still won't tell us about, they seem like they'll have plenty to talk about. To be clear, 3 days before early access for their expansion, I should have said. And the final bit of news this week is the Nintendo conference at E3 this year. Now you're probably wondering why I have that separated from the rest. Normally, we look forward to this event for some news on like Legend of Zelda, Mario, Star Fox, whatever it is, whatever your Nintendo character of choice is. While Legend of Zelda, they said, will be absent from E3 this year, and Star Fox will be having a playable demo on the Wii U, the big news has nothing to do with any of that. It's the revival of the Nintendo World Championships. This was an event held last in 1990, where players competed against each other in a series of popular Nintendo titles to amass the highest score possible. Now, 25 years later, they are reviving the event for this year's E3. And honestly, I couldn't be more pumped. Now, I would love to get into the whole history of the Nintendo World Championships with the movie The Wizard in 1989, which actually inspired the actual World Championships and the super rare cartridges. But I'd basically just be rehashing that Angry Video Game Nerd video that he does about both The Wizard, the Power Glove, and the Nintendo World Championships. So I recommend you just go watch those because those are also completely hilarious. And that's it for this week's episode of Happy Gaming News. Now, I know there are a few things I missed, so be sure to mention in the comment section of the video what was your favorite news from this last week. Are you pumped for the NWCs, or Nintendo World Championships? And are you pumped for Wildstar going free to play? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I have no idea. Let me know in the comment section of the video below. I'd also like to quickly announce that Happy Gaming is now partnered with Green Man Gaming. Check the description of the video. You'll find a link which will take you to my landing page. And while you're there, you can also use the special discount code MrHappy1227 saves 20. That'll save you 20% on the majority of titles. Doesn't work on everything, but it works on a fair bit. But anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next week, hopefully on Sunday this time. And until then, take care.